Welcome everyone to the semi-finals of the PGL Major in Krakow. The Torn Arena is awaiting our next two teams that make it through into that arena, and they will be cheered to the rafters. We've also had a little bit of a change up here on our panel as we welcome back Fifth Lauren and Janko. Good afternoon, gents. Everything good?
I'm good.
Looking forward to this semi-final?
I am.
I'm great. I got to watch that for that quarterfinal from the arena, and
you did. I'm so envious.
Yeah, I mean the Polish fans. That's something, man.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to play in front of. They've also been very respectful. I love the fact that when we come to Poland, whether it's Katowice, Warsaw, or here, they're always very passionate about esports. They always support the other teams as well. Sure, they're going to shout loudest for Virtus Pro and make a noise for them, but they always shout for the other teams too. No more so than the fact we've got a class semi-final ahead of us between Gambit and Astralis.
Absolutely, and Gambit, you know, a bit under the radar throughout this tournament. Sure, they made it out in 3-0. I think there were a lot of people who would probably expect them to make the playoffs because they've been improving steadily ever since Zeus joined the team. Maybe not in a 3-0 fashion. Then against Fnatic, a very close series, ended up being 2-0. But Gambit is a team that, you know, structurally, fundamentally, can put up a fight against Astralis. They have good team play. They have a deep map pool. So that's what you need to have if you're going to have a chance against Astralis.
Yeah, Robin, looking forward to it?
Definitely. I mean, but keep in mind, this is also a very completely different beast compared to Fnatic. And that was my main worry for Gambit was, yeah, I think they're going to make it to the playoffs. But then that's when the best of 3 starts. And
yeah,
now we're up against I mean, you saw Astralis yesterday, just completely on fire. Read SK like a book. And then coming into Gambit here, I think we're going to see somewhat kind of the same.
All right, we're going to get more from both of you in a minute and break down the teams in more detail. But first, let's introduce them both to the Torn Arena.
Leader Zeus is a legend in the CIS scene, having won numerous majors in CS 1.6. But a CSGO major has thus far eluded him. Following his dismissal from Na'Vi, the team he founded, the king of slow-paced CS, is looking to bring his band of misfits to a deep finish. Youngsters Hobbit and Mao are steadied by the rock-solid consistency of Adrian. And this team is never one to be trifled with. Welcome on stage, Gambit Esports. Champions of the last major, Astralis have ruled the scene for much of 2017. Finishing in the top 4 of 7 events, denied the wins which would have defined an era by FaZe and SK. The major would be the perfect time for the return of the world-beating Astralis. Tactics rule the roost when they are on the server. Welcome on stage, Astralis.
Here we go then, headed into our first semi-final of the day as the players will get themselves settled. We're going to get into a bit more depth with our panel members once more. Janko, we'll start off with Gambit. It has been a terrific run from them. They said early on when they came to the group stages that they'd had an awful boot camp, an awful set of practice for the first 2 weeks before the major. Weren't sure that they were even going to win a few rounds at the first game, and here they are in the semi-finals. How does that happen?
I think it's a one game at a time type of a thing, right? No matter how maybe disheartened you are coming into the tournament because of practice results and so forth, once you actually get into the game, you know, you're fully focused, the adrenaline kicks in, and they had that good first game against Mouse Sports, and they didn't have an easy bracket. They defeated both G2 and Virtus Pro after that, relatively comfortable. So once you have that going for you, once your individuals start playing well like Adren did throughout the group stage, that kind of confidence just keeps building up, and you're thinking, okay, doesn't matter really what happened in practice, because things seem to be going on pretty well here at the actual major.
That's always the main worry for practice as well, because you never really know what you're going to end up playing.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to run your strats, but who knows what your opponent's going to be doing, right? So, yeah, for me at least, practice should always be like, okay, this is the round we want to play coming into the tournament, so these are the rounds we want to play. Let's just make sure that we do them correctly. And then coming into the tournament, they might play differently, or this team might play differently than the teams that we played against. And that's I feel like that's what we saw here for Gambit as well. Everything has clicked for them so far in the groups, and then it does. I mean, obviously it helps as well when you have Adren just dropping bombs, and then for the first their game yesterday versus Fnatic as well, we have even Dosha was dropping 30 bombs on Inferno. Like, when does this happen?
Well, 2009.
Yeah.
13 a little bit.
It was. I mean, some of them have rolled back their ears a little bit. I'll give you an interesting fact about them so far. This major, all of them have positive KDR, which is not that usual. People say, oh, well, Astralis probably have, and SK have in the sure, but Gambit would not be one of those teams where you'd think that everyone would be positive. So they've obviously had a really good spread around the team as well. Been playing really well together as a team.
Yeah, I mean, the one person that comes to mind, and it's the same with when you look at North, for example, with MSL, and you have Zeus in there. Zeus is not known to be a fragger. Zeus is just supposed to be the mastermind and just to help your team win rounds. But when just the fact that even he has a plus KDR, right? Just, yeah, like I said, I just feel like this team, I just found a whole different kind of mentality and approach into this major. I feel like everything is working the way it should be. And it shows. I mean, they've been winning games.
The trouble is, they come up against the former champions in the semi-finals, and I think the majority of us would feel this is probably a stretch to imagine they can get past them. But if they are going to get past them, how is it going to be done?
I think it absolutely is a stretch. But as I said previously, I think Gambit has the ingredients necessary to take down Astralis. In theory, it's like Astralis is a better version of Gambit, basically. You know, so what Gambit needs in this matchup is their individual stepping up. You know, yes, there is structure. Yes, there is a map pool. They can play all of these maps, but it has to be Adren having a superstar performance. It has to be, you know, Mo being able, not even maybe to keep up with Device, but just not get destroyed by Device, because we saw what he did yesterday to Fallen. I mean, Device had an amazing series, really stepped up, almost 100 ADR across those two maps. So it has to be that, because you need to be aggressive against Astralis. We saw again yesterday what happens if you give them too much control. They're just so good, so well prepared, so well regimented that they will always have a way out.
Obviously, they had the book on SK yesterday, Robin. They studied it well. They'd read it back to front. They'd read the forward and the index and everything else. A little bit different with Gambit. These two haven't played for over a year, and even then, I mean, it's Dust 2 and it's ESL 1, so there's nothing you can put back. You can only look back how they've played in this major so far to try and figure them out. Yeah,
but that's when the individual performance of Astralis comes back, right? When you look at it, SK and Astralis.
Bless you.
Sorry. SK and Astralis, I feel like that matchup is a little bit different, because that's one that you would have potentially seen in a semifinal or even a final. And there's so much more, like you're saying, detail for SK to go from. It does really help as well that Device has basically had Fallen as like the one guy that I'm going to learn things from. So that hence the dual matchup that you saw, I think, was 17 versus 2-7 or something. You don't have that here versus Gambit, right? But then this, when the stuff you practice, you pass on ESL 1 to prepare for this major, and that's what you're going to have to rely on.
Yeah. It's been put into question a few times, this whole passing of tournaments. Not the first time they've done it either. It's a mantle that they've had since the E-League, where they said, we're not going to play excessive amounts of lands. We're going to do one a month, and that's all we're going to do.
Yeah, I think it's great for them to stay adamant to that, because skipping ESL One Cologne isn't easy. You know, we all know players love to play that tournament, a huge arena, huge crowd, same as here. So that's why they play in the end, for those big arena stadium games and in front of the crowd. But I think it's not as much the additional preparation that Astralis did that is giving them the advantage. I think that matters, yes, but I think the bigger thing is they played less games. You know, by skipping that tournament, they, for example, if they played ESL One Cologne, they would probably be forced to play cash at some point. And, you know, they skipped it. That didn't happen. SK comes into the game. They have no idea what to expect from Astralis. And that's, I think, the greatest benefit that they've had from skipping ESL One.
Okay. Before we do more and talk more about the current reigning champions here, why don't we get the better words from one of the men inside the camp? Kjabi was talking to Sir Scoots a couple of days back.
Hello again, Scoots is here in the interview room, and this time I've got the youngest player still alive in the tournament. I got KRB from Astralis. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great today, Scoots.
So you're 19, but Magis is only a couple months older than you, so you're both the young bucks still alive in the tournament, but very, very close. And obviously, not your first rodeo. I mean, you are the defending champions, and you've actually been to several other majors before this. So even though you're so young, it doesn't necessarily have any gauge on your skill set or your experience at majors. But how does it make you feel being that young and being like in the limelight like this?
Yeah, it's not the same as a few years ago where I feel like I'm almost a veteran right now. I know that's a bit disrespectful because we have legends who are 30 now and must be feeling it's tough sometimes with the competition and playing so much for so many years. But yeah, I already feel really experienced, to be honest. This is my fourth major, and I've been through a lot of ups and downs in my career already, and it's definitely made me a more mature and a stronger player. So I'm just looking forward to the playoffs here and gonna enjoy every moment of it.
Now, you won the last major, E-League, right, in Atlanta. We're ranked #1 for quite a while. Everyone started talking about the Astralis era, because we've had these eras, right? And you lost your #1 ranking. SK is now the #1. I asked this question to Glaive when you guys were at your, the Clash for Cash, and I said, would you rather be #1 and have like that prestige, but also have the target on your back, or would you rather not? And he was flat out like, nope, I'd rather be like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, because once you're top 5, we all know how close we are skill-wise internally. And he'd rather not have the target on the back of the team to always beat, right? How do you feel about that?
I think I'm 50-50. There's pros and cons with both things. Right now we are ranked 3rd in the world, which takes some of the pressure from our shoulders, obviously, because we're playing the best team in the world in the quarterfinals, and we had a lot of close matchups against them, and to be honest, it can go either way. I think they will not underestimate us by any chance, and we'll just go in there and play our best. But there's also a huge prestige and pride in being the #1 team in the world, and that's something I strive for every day and we fight for. So obviously it was sad to SK to come in and ruin our era, so to say it, but we really want to win this tournament, and it's just one game at a time, and this for sure could be one of the greatest games ever.
And to that point of you guys really wanting to focus again, you intentionally took a chunk of time off before this major. All the other big teams, for the most part, went to Cologne. They've been on the road a lot more, and you guys intentionally declined invites, stayed home to boot camp and do all those things. In retrospect, and you came in here a little shaky, that very first match of Immortals, shaking the rust off and went to overtime. You all still feel that was the right decision?
Yes. I think no matter the outcome, we will all think it's the right decision. We planned this months prior to the major to feel the way we can prepare the best for this huge tournament. So we had everything planned out, and it kind of went a little bit bad when we didn't qualify for the EPL, because that was the point where we couldn't participate at Cologne because we wouldn't have any time to practice. And we're here to do our best and come in our best shape to defend the title, and we're not going to come in with 50% with too many travel days, too many tournament matches. We'd rather be feeling confident in our strategies because we are a very tactical team. So yeah, that's the decision, and we're going to live with it.
And let's talk about sports psychologists for a while. A lot of press grabbed onto the fact that you had a sports psychologist with you in Atlanta, and that's a lot of teams are starting to do that. You're not necessarily the first, but I think the most prominent example of how it might have helped the team, because obviously she's been very helpful to you guys, and then you win the major. I saw her here, she is around. So what kind of things does she like help you with that you feel like talking about? Obviously it might be a lot of personal stuff as well, but like in day-to-day, like what has she done for you in that sense, you know?
Yeah, as you said, it can be personal stuff in your private life, what bothers you and stuff. But most of all, I think the most important thing about it is that we respect her. Whatever she gives to the team, her experience and everything in the meetings is just a bonus for us. It's just about having a person there you respect, to have like a forum where you can discuss things and
proper communication keeps everything smooth. Yeah, for sure. And she is here, so look out everybody else, because obviously when she was in Atlanta, y'all won.
Everyone is scared of her.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So you went 3-1 in the groups. One loss was to SK, who you are going to play again. That was on Inferno. We had a lot of Inferno during the group stage. So what are you guys taking away from that loss?
It was actually a really rough loss for us, because we feel like we didn't get in our comfort zone in that game. We lost 16-8, and Colsera had the game of his life almost. I know he has a lot of good games.
He has that a lot, doesn't he?
But it was a really good game from him, and we just went back to the hotel and were like, you can't have that game every day. So yeah, we had to take the loss, and we came back strong the day after. So
now let's keep talking about him, because luck of the draw, if you will, gets you having to play those guys in the quarterfinal again. Obviously, best of 3, different kind of world than a best of 1. Any thoughts going into that one, other than it's going to be a crazy match?
Yeah, as you said, it's going to be a crazy match, but I think like best of 3 is the thing we want to play, also against SK, even though they're ranked better than us. Honestly, I think the favorites for the rest of the tournament is going to be the winner of that game. That's not a secret. So we're just going to go in there and play our hearts out, and after that there's no looking back.
Let's talk about the rest of your bracket, because you then, if you win that one, Gambit or Fnatic, right, is the rest of that bracket. So any ideas on how you think that will turn out?
I think Fnatic will win, but it's going to be a close game.
And then you beat Fnatic and you sit in the finals?
I hope so.
All right.
And then Virtus Pro.
I was going to say, so Big Immortal, North, Virtus Pro, are those 2 bottom matches?
I think VP, it's like the last major. They always show up, no matter the form they've showed. Last time they also lost a rather easy tournament in China and came to the finals in the major. So they're gonna be fueled by the home crowd, and I'm pretty sure they will be in the finals here.
All right, so possible Astralis VP finals in there. Does that scare you at all? Because obviously the Polish fans love Counter-Strike, but they really love Virtus Pro.
I don't think it scares me. This is the day I live for. This is my profession, and I really enjoy playing in big stadiums, and I thrive under the pressure, I think.
All right. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to tell your fans? Anyone out there?
Just thanks for the fans, for the daily support. We really appreciate it, and let's get a good major playoff.
All right. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Can't be there with us. Scoots in the search for a double major win in 1 year, of course, completed by a very few amount of players, Fnatic players in the past, and of course SK Gaming last year as well. So they're trying really to secure it as an era, aren't they? We spoke about this throughout the group stage. They had the opportunity after winning E-League majors to then go on a run and dominate the scene, and it hasn't been that dominant overall, because we've seen a number of other teams winning tournaments. But if they win this second major, do you then just say, well, 2017 was the year of Astralis?
Yeah, I think it's a very similar situation to what happened to SK last year, right? They won both majors, a couple of, a lot of top 2, top 4 finishes, but not as many titles that they would like. I think it's the same for Astralis, but obviously the major is always the most important. It was the rise of FaZe, the resurgence of SK that kind of denied Astralis that era title per se, but I'm sure that FaZe would trade in a heartbeat with Astralis all those grand finals and the title in Kiev if they could just be here at the big stage in Krakow.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, Robert, isn't it? We've had SK, who won 3 before we come into this and look red hot, have FaZe on a bit of a run over the summer as well. G2 have won a couple of big tournaments. Even Virtus Pro have won a tournament in amongst that lot, and yet all of them, I'm sure, would swap it for a place where Astralis are right now.
No, I mean, definitely the only one that you can say so about is VP.
Yeah. Are you okay?
There we go. Let's try again. No, but that was the gamble you took, right, with SK, for example, attending all these tournaments, whereas for Astralis ended up not to, and then that was like, which way is better? Because then you get the tournament experience, you get, okay, everything's working, or you just like, we have no idea really how we're going to play coming into this tournament.
But that's the thing with SK, isn't it? They have had, and I know Fallen said coming into this tournament, they felt a bit burnt out, and they didn't seem that burnt out in the group stages, but that's got to have played on their mind when they play Astralis, and Astralis are fresh and hungry, and they want that second title.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is the amount of preparation Astralis could do based off of how many games SK has simply played, in the last month or so. I think SK has played the most map out of all teams on LAN in the past 3 months, and those have been some very, very high-level tournaments, so no opportunity for you to hide stuff, right? And because of how frequent the tournaments were, you don't really have that much time in between to change things. So for SK, it's generally difficult to anti-strat them because they just do such a good job of adjusting. But the thing is, the way Astralis prepares for opponents, they don't look at like your executes, they look at your tendencies, your rotations, your movements, like your preferred spots, and then they have that in the back of their mind, just running their own playstyle.
Phone's collected in the background. Been doing his job, getting rid of all of those out of the back. These players are just starting to gather, so heading towards the map vetoes. Before we talk about that, though, I just want to get key players on both sides. For those that are fresh and new to the Major, we get a lot of new people watch these shows. Pick out one player on each side that they should watch for.
Okay, so for the new guys coming in to watch for Gambit, it would have to be Adren and Hobbit, right? Those are the 2 stars and the guys who rack up the most kills. But I think for Gambit in this best of 3, the most important player is going to be Mo, because he is the kind of single, at least primary opera of the team, and we saw how good Device was yesterday. He's going to have to at least, put a stop to him to an extent, because if Device has a dominating performance like yesterday, Gambit are not going to have a chance in this game.
Okay. Robin, on the other side, Astralis?
It has to be Device. I mean, there's no say about it. I just love the way he plays.
He's great to watch, isn't he?
He's just so fun to watch. I think he barely ever has a bad game. It doesn't really matter. And then the second one for me is gonna have to be Kirby. I feel like yesterday he wasn't playing bad by any means, but when this team was first formed, Kirby was supposed to be that star player. When Device, this was 2 years ago now. Hence the psychologists they have now, but Device tended to not really perform in playoffs.
It's okay. You can say tilt. It's fine. Yeah, no, he did.
No, tilt.
And I think he admitted that himself.
There were no chokers, but that's definitely gone by now, right? But then Kirby came in to be this kind of a young star, to be able to put him over the edge. And I definitely feel like he still has that kind of power.
Okay. And keys to victory for these 2 teams. Astralis, it's probably more... There's more clarity on their side, isn't there? So what about Gambit? They've got to do what to win this game? Does it involve 5 different factors to do this?
And I think for Gambit, they need to take risks, right? They need to be aggressive. They can't just expect to outplay Astralis at their own game. They need to try and disrupt them. You look at the ways Astralis has been losing games in the last 6 months or throughout 2017. It was to VP, who would be very, very aggressive against them, who would get into that plow mode. It was against FaZe, who has amazing individual players, and just through sheer individual skill they were kind of forced their will upon Astralis, and it's SK who has a combination of both. So that's a very, very narrow club, very tight group of teams that were able to take down Astralis. Gambit doesn't have anything on the same level as those teams do, so that's why they need to have a game of their lives. They need to overperform basically in this best of 3 in order to be able to upset Astralis, because when you look at the maps even, there is not a clear pick here for Gambit, even though they have a deep map pool, but there's not a clear map where you can say, yes, this is where they have an advantage over Astralis. There are maps that they can play against Astralis, but again, there's a clear advantage for the Danes in this veto.
Zeus has been here before with Na'Vi. He's been in the semi-finals. He's been in the final twice as well. He'll know all about this kind of matchup and strategically how to get the team ready. So what is he doing for them? What is he telling them? How is he getting them to play here?
I mean, the veto should have been done already in their heads as of yesterday, right? Right after their game versus Fnatic, they're like, okay, who are we going to play? Then let's look at it. And then have a clear plan coming into this, because there should be no gambles here whatsoever for coming from Gambit's side. Astralis is not going to play Cobblestone versus you, which is the one pick that I would have said, yes, go with Cobblestone. You don't really have that now, so you just have a really, really clear picture on like how you want to play this team and just stick by it. And as for Astralis, like Janko was saying, Gambit, they have to take gambles. For Astralis, they should just play their own game. There should not be anything that just you are the better team here.
And it really is amazing to see how Astralis, you alluded to it a little bit, 2 years ago, known to be chokers, right? Would always get to like top 4 or even into the finals and then just couldn't close out, couldn't win the tournaments, even though you would think they have all the ingredients on paper. So to see the trip that they made now to being probably the most composed team out there. Yesterday in that game against SK, when things were going rough for them on cash, they take a breather, they double eco, and then were able to salvage that first half, and it was just enough for them to win cash.
All right, Victor's underway. As you can see, they're going to steam through these, actually. Astralis have banned Cobble. Gambit remove Mirage. Astralis therefore pick Overpass.
And this is where Astralis has the advantage, right? They have a clear veto. For Gambit, they don't really play either Mirage or Overpass. Mirage seems to be their permaban. They go for that, and that's a clear pick for Astralis. Maybe they felt like they could have gone for Nuke, perhaps, if they want to play that map, but they are regarded as the world's best team on Overpass, so a no-brainer for them eventually. For Gambit, it would have been between Train and Inferno. I think those were the 2 picks they could have went for, and maybe Inferno is the choice because they saw them play against SK, saw them play it a couple of times, and then also you maybe don't want to pick Train because Astralis gets to start on the CT side. Maybe that's not what you want to go for.
That's how it's panned out. So they've got Train as a third if they need it.
And Nuke is a clear veto in the second phase for Gambit, a map that they've played a couple of times, but not really, I think, on the level of Astralis. And I think actually Gambit is going to be satisfied with the last map being Train, because as I said, Train in Inferno was where they would have liked to go in terms of their pick, and they get both in the series. So you do feel like if they can get to Train, there is a chance potentially, but I think Overpass is very strange because Gambit was undefeated on this map for a long time, and then for some reason they just stopped playing it. It was in the pool, they wouldn't pick it, they would ban it themselves in the second phase, so I don't know what's going on there, but that's a deceptively maybe weak map for Gambit.
I feel like it used to be the same way for Astralis when they had Kerrigan actually on the roster, where it's like they were really going to train, they would never pick it. It's like if they pick it against us, then we'll play it, but we're not gonna pick it ourselves, which is super surprising for Gambit. Like here, I think that this veto is definitely in Astralis' favor. I think that Gambit is going to be very happy with the Overpass first pick, but you can clearly see here as well, the Inferno pick, for me at least, that's just like, hey, we played good on it versus Mousesports in the groups, and then we beat Fnatic on it as well, and we also can see that Astralis are beatable on it, since SK had their run in the group stages on it, right? Well, granted, Colsera dropped 35, but they're beatable.
As long as someone doesn't drop 35.
That's 35 kills,
yeah. Which Adrenaline is capable of
to
doing.
Janko's point, where it's like they have to play aggressive. They have to go. They have to have all their players show up. Especially Mo. I mean, for me, for that Inferno game, Adren didn't really show up yesterday versus Fnatic, but Dosha did. There's like, can we activate Adren here on that Inferno game? Do we have a solid game plan with that? And just stick Mo to the solid points and just the choke points.
Yeah. The problem is on Overpass, it's very, very difficult against Astralis on the CT side to pull off early aggression, right? So you need to go for mid-round aggression. Once they start rolling out with their default, checking spots, you need to try and find where the weak link is, pop flash. Maybe it's trying to push Zipex out, who is outside Monster when they're more focused towards like bathrooms and long A. Maybe it's trying to be aggressive with like 2 players towards long A, but it has to be mid-round. Early on, they're so good at that defensive playstyle. We saw how SK got punished multiple times yesterday for that early aggression, and that's the most difficult way to play CT side. That's if you can perfect that, then you can really be the master of the CT side. So it's going to be very tough for Gambit, but I mean, they need to try it at least, because if you just take a step back and let Astralis do their own thing, they're going to choke you out.
Yeah. That's a good way to finish. Thank you very much to Yanko and Fifth Larry for their expert analysis before this matchup. Let's bring in our commentary team and say good afternoon to 2 men who I'm sure are absolutely loving life in the Toron Arena right now. It is James and DDK. Good afternoon, gents.
Good afternoon. Very much looking forward to this one. This is, I think, the biggest test maybe for Gambit of their career, this team at majors and other things. It's a very big test for them.
It is indeed.
I like the set of maps. How are you feeling about it, Dan?
Yeah, this is going to be very exciting, isn't it? I think Gambit are actually really stepping up their game to do this stage and its audience and its event justice. And obviously, you know, to win, you've got to be the best. You know, you have to beat all the best teams, and essentially, Astralis, you know, holding that title. There's nothing more motivating than playing the guys with the title and being the underdog. And they've got nothing to lose right now. This is amazing. It's perfect for Gambit. I'm so excited for them.
Yeah, you seem excited, Dan. Have you got your shorts on?
Unfortunately, I don't. I don't actually. But I have some in my bag, so I will we'll switch those out soon.
All right, yeah. Just don't let the crowd see. There's a few people watching, mate.
Nice,
right,
yeah. I love those caster intros. We should just play it every 5 minutes. Or
They're glorious. They're glorious. Enjoy it, gents, and take us into the first game.
Thank you very much, Paul. Overpass will be the first game between these two teams. And I mean, what do you think? Obviously, I think Gambit have to be the underdogs, but maybe this is a tournament where they show us what their ceiling is, if there is one.
It's always really difficult for me when it comes to any team facing Astralis on Overpass, because I feel like Astralis play it so smart. They're such a good team in taking minimal risks and understanding when to take the right risks, understanding how to pressure a team really heavily, and then sort of trick them into making mistakes. And Astralis has an amazing game plan, both on the CT and the T side. So it's going to, of course, require a lot of great individual performances from Gambit, and we've been seeing that as well. You know, Doza's been having an amazing tournament so far. You know, yesterday he was looking fantastic. Mo was also really, really good, and you're going to really look to Mo on a map like this, which really features, you know, your main AWPer. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the Mo and device dynamics here. And I really actually think that Gambit, despite what how much I just bigged up Astralis there and how good they are on Overpass, I really feel like Gambit does have a solid chance here. There he is.
For those of you on Go TV, with Gambit starting on the CT side, definitely worth having a look at Mo. And for the Astralis side, Device is a pretty good pick on this map in particular. So I'm going to go with the snipers for both sides, Mo and Device. Any additions for you, Dan?
It's really difficult, actually, but if I was to pick somebody different, at least for Astralis, I might be leaning towards Kirby, actually, potentially. Depends on how the CT side goes, because I do really like Kirby's rifling and how he gets pushed in there. They'll have players flashing him into certain situations, pushing that fountain. He can really be very key sometimes in the early rounds. So I'll probably go for Kirby, but I think you can really go with anyone. At this point in the tournament, James, pretty much everybody is worth a goosey gander, as you would say in the UK. And as far as the starts, are you having a preference as far as which side you want to see Gambit start on? What do you think is going to be the easier side for them against Astralis?
Well, they will be starting on the CT side, so what is the easiest one? I think the CT side probably will. I was going to add that when Astralis make it to the CT side, I think Zipex is a good person to watch in terms of how to defend the B-bomb site. He's always really good with that, and his team offer him great support as well. So that will be very interesting going into the second half. I think the first half will be key. Again, Gambit, I think it's simple to say that it's going to be their toughest test yet, and it will be a very hard-fought series if they are to proceed beyond this point. And again, there may be the odd rumors swirling about players such as Zeus and whether he will be moving around. Perhaps it's dependent on how they perform in this tournament. So maybe there's a lot more riding on this for Gambit than we think about.
I think this is actually a good start for Gambit potentially, because I fear the CT side of Astralis the most. So I think this has actually worked out quite well for them. And yesterday they were winning every pistol round, James, against Fnatic. They won every pistol round. I wonder if that trend will continue.
We will soon find out, because the game is about to begin. The pistol rounds, the first semi-final here at the PGL Major in Poland. Gambit will be defending versus Astralis, who have something else to defend, and that is the championship. They come into this match carrying the gold. We have the Astralis camp, the fan base in front of us here.
Looks like a fast one here from the Astralis lads as they make their way into the stewards, and we can see the bomb also should be making its way through Monster soon. Just a few grenades to go in first before we see the swell of the Danish players reaching that B bomb site. And already Glaive taking down Doja, making life quite uncomfortable here for Gambit. And they'll be okay with this, though it's quite a retakeable bomb site, but the bomb is down and the pressure is now on the Gambit side.
Hobbit starting to move forward. No CTs in a flanking position. Again, often comes down to the headshots. Adren off to a good start. Two-man advantage now. Hobbit's putting in work. Another headshot for him in. 2 kills, in fact, for Adren. And Adren will finish off the 3rd kill. 3 kills in total for Gambit. A much-needed pistol round. Again, they've shown us that they've been good at winning these pistols, and it continues.
I wonder what their overall pistol stats are actually like in this tournament. It's pretty uncanny, isn't it? And such a great way to start against the Astralis side. But again, they did get the bomb down, did Astralis, so they'll be looking to likely get the AKs in and onto the 3rd round, which is definitely a good look on Overpass. But it is a team too, is Astralis, where I could definitely expect that maybe they have a special round in store for when you get that bomb down, but you lose it, and you have the extra $800 in every player, so you can get funky sometimes. But looks like they're going to go with a standard approach, get the full save in, and wait until those 3rd round AKs come out. And Gambit, of course, they're just going to be looking to just make the money here. That's as simple as it is, and Adren will start things off well.
Gambit going to be patrolling things in that connector area, more or less, leaving Kiabi alone, carrying the bomb, and Hobbit will smoke him out. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that. That is beautiful, almost as beautiful as the man himself. Great support here, not just for the Polish teams. 2-0 to Gambit. Astralis bringing out the AKs now. Reasonable level of utility as well. That said, only 3 smoke grenades. And that might be key depending on what they choose to do. 2 UMPs on the Gambit side. Adren going for a forward play, but forced back from flashbangs.
Just taking this one pretty easy so far indeed, our Gambit falling all the way back, giving Astralis a lot of respect in the early days. And the other thing too is that Gambit will realize that there's not much utility in a round like this where Astralis are going to get all the AK-47s. And as we can see, Astralis, they've got a bunch of smokes left, but they don't really have enough utility to clear all of these spots safely. So they're going to have to take risks, and you can see that they are approaching this really smart. They're playing together so they can trade, and that's all they've got really going for themselves in this situation where you can't flash around all the corners and so on. So Astralis looking to make an explosive play towards A, but there's 3 players here for Gambit.
Deuce being the bait, and Mo is ready. But this is a situation that teams have seen before. We'll see how much Device commits to this. Device, a well-studied man of players and teams in Counter-Strike. May have seen his conversations have fallen from the previous match. Adren with a flashbang there, and there's the bait play working out long. That's a nice grenade from Zeus as well, but there are more Astralis players coming, and one by one they'll fall. Bomb headed towards A. Dozier defending B on his own. Rest of Gambit ready to defend. Will the communication be that Zeus was here previously? Zeus, if you're off angle, the smoker might help him. The bomb is down now, running out of bullets, I think, trying to reload. Dupree's alone, a question of damage now for Dupree. 1 versus 3. Can't get the spray onto either of these players, and it'll be Zeus to finally finish him off. 4 players surviving for Gambit as they move forward.
So the slow approach works. A treat for Gambit in that round, and once again Astralis going to be struggling with the pistols here, and it gets a bit scary, just having Gambit's economy grow and grow and grow. So Astralis will be a bit worried about that, but it's now going to be about thinking on those orbs and when the utility really comes in as we get into that 5th round. So it's very early days for Astralis, but this is definitely the start that we need to see out of Gambit. Again, this is such a strong map for Astralis that they really need the good starts and the momentum first.
Only 2 people have kills on the Astralis team at the moment, but it's still early days. No need for concern just yet. Dozier and Hobbit in aggressive positions towards B. Hobbit doesn't want to overextend. He's got nobody covering him. Does not need to peek through short B tunnel in a round such as this. No need to give anything away. Astralis definitely don't want to give anything to them for free.
And we've seen, you know, crazy Deagle plays out of the likes of Dupree as well in the past on this map, and generally all Astralis players very capable of such things. So Gambit very happy indeed to, again, just keep everybody alive. They aren't losing any players. This is kind of scary at the moment. Astralis, though, they will get the AKs into the round, and we've got loads of utility to back those up as well. Not opting to go for any sort of no armor plays, so it's going to be what I would imagine should be a dynamic round where we get Astralis taking a lot of map control, playing out a very solid default, using their utility to clear out all these spaces, push the Gambit defense back, and maybe set themselves up for a set piece later on into the round. We'll have to see. Gambit might want to put the pressure on. This would be a good round to do so.
No CTs in the connector position. Zipex is lurking outside B for the moment, and Dupree's position will become important should Zipex want to head towards that short B area. He'll want to make sure no CTs come through that door and pinch the position. And does have general strength in map control as well. Nobody forward for Gambit. Adren threw a flash earlier, but from the toilets area. Not going for the aggressive peaks just yet that we expect to see from Device in the second half. And Astralis are just slowly emerging forward, almost with a diagonal line through the map. Device now heading to the boulder on long.
Yeah, it's starting to get closer and closer. 50 seconds left here for Astralis, and without a pick, you know, they start being in this position where they need to think, okay, how do we actually get onto a bomb site? How do we open things up? We've got to make a committed play. We've got to extend ourselves into risk. And you can see there are a lot of risks at play here. Dren creeping through the toilets here. He's got a couple players nearby. And there's a very nice frag there. Spots the bomb as well, I believe. So really good info. Dren's not going to stop there. Gets himself number 2 as well. And now Astralis, they need to make huge plays. It's Zipex at B. Can he be the one to bring Astralis back into this round?
Dupree in the short B position as well. Dozier really fighting, but he can't quite get it done. And neither can Hobbit. There's still 3 Ts remaining. 3 CTs remaining as well. Dupree taking some fire damage, but he's still alive. He's got some nice angles, but he's got to be careful. Backing into the flames again. Now he's in the red. That's a lovely second headshot there, leaving Mo alone, waiting for the smoke to go. Dupree must be close enough to hear the scope. If Mo knew that both players were in the red, maybe the pistol comes out, misses Zipex. Time running out for the man. The grenades is gonna do the job. Out with the pistol now, Mo. Sees Dupree, and there's the second kill. Has he got time to defuse the bomb though? It's been quite ticked. Yeah, he's fine. 5 rounds, Gambit keep the clean sheets.
I actually think Mo actually had no idea that he was going to clutch that. He's like, I think it's just like cutting a couple of deagle shots. Wait a second. That guy was actually super low. This is insane. Mo picking up a really important clutch there. But Adren, the guy who's just absolutely murdering Astralis there in this round. 3 really insane AK shots there. We see the first one being so crucial as to get the information. Wins the trade. He knew that was going to be coming his way as soon as he gets that first frag. Reveals his position. And again, that precision from Adren. He looks very on point at the moment. And again, everybody has to be firing on all cylinders here to deal with the likes of Astralis, the title holders.
So he said, keep an eye on Mo and Device. Mo 7 for 1. Device is 0 for 5 at the moment. They will need to get him in the game in this first half if they want to pull up a nice score. Maximum loss bonus territory for the Ts. The bomb plant gives them even more money. And there's 5 AKs here for Astralis. Gambit again. Not overextending, trying to be careful. Some warning shots for Zeus. He may not re-pick that for a while. Zeus, Dozier, and Hobbit all around the B bomb site. Putting these smokes down. They've been good at holding onto smokes. 1 minute 10. They've got 3 smokes in the bag after just deploying 1 and a fair few Molotovs as well. So they've got some nice delay tactics for Astralis as they bunch around the B bomb sites.
And I really like this change of approach from Gambit. After having lots of players, like often 3 towards A, they've now got 3 towards B for the first time. And we can see that Astralis, perhaps, still thinking about how the previous setups were working. Maybe they don't have enough information to understand there's been a change yet. They might walk into this 3-man setup, and Gambit seem very, very ready for this. They're really holding a few tight positions here around short and also around the monster tunnel. So Astralis, they can definitely get in there, but they're going to have to hit some really great shots on the entry fragging scenario. And there it is. Hobbit with the spray down. He gets himself two with the help of Dozier. Kirby, though, with the trades. That's what Astralis need. They're into the B-bomb site now, but it's slow, and the rotation is coming.
Zeus really needs to stay alive here. Mo with a god grenade again. 2 on 2. There are 12 seconds for this bomb to get planted. Both CTs on the high ground, which means the bomb plant will be successful. Mo holding an angle, making sure that nobody crosses towards that shack. They know where the T's aren't, but do they know where the T's are? Both moving to the short B position. Adren's got to be very careful. That's a very dangerous place to peek from. Moving forward now, no more grenades left for the CT side. They've got to win these duels, and there are off angles being held. The pre-fire from Adren, but how does he get the bomb defused in a situation? Mo with a successful spray there, and it's Adren to peek Kiabi. They both win their duels. 6-0 Gambit.
James, Gambit are actually looking really strong right now. Just when I'm looking at Adren now, I just see this guy. I'm like, this guy's just going to win every duel. That's just how it's going so far. How long can he keep that up against the caliber of players in the Astralis camp? It's kind of insane. A 6-0 start, perfect here for Gambit. Able to, of course, keep a lot of money alive in a lot of situations too, and doing an effective job trading there as Astralis push the B-bomb site. But let's not forget as well that Gambit were expecting that push. They had 3 members on the bomb site. Astralis still were able to take the bomb site, even with those disadvantages. So even though on the rounds it looks bad for them, they've been doing some work in some of these rounds now, just when they get those guns. And we haven't seen really the change of approach just yet from Astralis, where we get the AWP from Device. They play a slower, more pick-based style. We'll see them trying to take down the defense around the A area. It's going to be interesting when we start to see that. Could be this round, in fact, now as Device does pick up an AWP. But again, you know, we haven't seen Mo going super aggressive with the AWP yet, and I know it's coming at some point. I'm just wondering when that's going to be.
For now, it might be business as usual for Gambit. Astralis, second round in a row, they've got the bomb down. I mean, these rounds have gone down to the wire, and those late HE grenades have definitely helped Gambit. Made life a lot easier after damage done elsewhere. Again, Gambit starting with 3 people in the B bomb site. And this time, there are forward positions from Gambit towards the long area. Adren playing for support, in support for Mo. And Adren's facing the wall, so if a flashbang comes and flashes Mo, he can spin around and offer a response on the CT side. That's why he's facing the wall here. Hasn't been told off by Zeus.
Astralis make their way close, but there is this aggression we were waiting for from Gambit. Ready to come in, Adren expecting to be flashed by Mo into this position perhaps to get a good peek off. Actually going to round the angle and finds Kirby. Ready for it though as Kirby gets the kill onto Adren. It's a great start here for Astralis. They've got a minute to play with too, so plenty of time. We've got map presence towards B, but forget that. We've got Dupree with the entry. However, Zeus is still holding it down, slowing them down, but maybe not for too long. Device gets himself in there as well. Now it's a 2 versus 4, and Gambit have a really hard task on their hands.
And they've only committed 1 player to this A bomb site, which is Hobbit. So even 2 versus 4, they split up 1 by 1. And Dozier has not moved an inch. So I don't know what Hobbit's plan is in this situation, because he's maybe looking for some kind of hero play on his own. But as time ticks, surely he will be saving. Is it a question of damage? Maybe it is, and Dozier's just perhaps just didn't agree with the situation. Just being handsome on the B-bomb site as Astralis head towards their first round. They survive with 4 players as well, which is really key in this situation, because there's no one with $1,000 in the bank right now for Astralis. If they win with 1, 2 people alive, then that's a big opportunity for Gambit to compound the problems for Astralis by resetting them in the next round. But they'll have some cash with which to weather a potential storm. 6-1 Gambit.
Astralis doing a great job there just on the defense, and really some of those aggressions to get themselves that good start previously. But again, what's Gambit going to bring to the table? This is a map that allows the CTs to do a lot of funky stuff early in the round, so you've got to really have your wits about you as we see a forward smoke there, and indeed Mo looking for perhaps an aggressive pick there as he is going to be scanning the angles. There you go, Kirby's down. And that's a bad look for Astralis early into the round, but there is plenty of time at the very least to try to right the ship.
It's really important for Gambit not to have a player picked off early. The previous round, Adren, he was almost being baited by the footsteps around the party area, was really patient, but Kjabi knows what those footsteps mean as well, and he was able to pick Adren off. If Gambit can avoid losing somebody in the first minutes, it'll make life a lot easier going forward. They lead with a man advantage in this round as we hit the minute mark. Minute remaining. Dozier towards a barrel position on B. And this time we've got 2 players in B for Gambit, but Zeus could rotate quickly enough.
A good setup here from Astralis. They've got that positioning towards B ready. They're not going to opt to have any lurkers towards. They're going to use all 4 players to get into this B bomb site. The counter grenades, though, very annoying for Gambit. The rotation's already coming for them as well. They understand what's happening on the map. This is really, really awesome for the Gambit's perspective. Again, just slowing Astralis down, buying themselves time, but the bomb will still be planted and shots can still be taken here. As we've got Dupree looking over the crates there, trying to find these CTs. It's going to look really good for Gambit. The 2 frags from them and just Dupree to defend the bomb against 4. It's going to be a tough one here. Gets himself the first frag. Still more to be had there as the team flash goes in. Dupree could have players coming from all sides, so he's got to be so careful. More grenades as well as the defuse will be pressured. Those counter grenades, James, very, very effective in holding Astralis off. Even though they got the bomb down, it was very tough to hold on to that position.
The plants will allow Astralis to buy once again, but this is very rough territory for Astralis. This is a pick of Astralis. Gambit chose Inferno as the second map. And indeed, Gambit are looking pretty strong. And this is the performance we need to see from Gambit. They need to have a dominating scoreline going into the second half to give themselves the best opportunity to pull away. Mo is 12-4-2 at the moment. Zipex and Device are still both on 1 kill each. So Gambit making this really hard again. Just need to avoid the early pick of Astralis. Zeus in connector. This is somewhat dangerous for him. He's got limited support on the upper ground. See Dupree. It's been a joy to watch Dupree's burst fire in this game so far. Mo's been picked off towards the toilet position by Device. So there's that early pick. Now let's see if Astralis can capitalize on this, if they can convert this into a round.
And Device might be able to get another one as well. We've got some interest here from Gambit in trying to find him. And he's going to be rattling off another op shot. So he's sort of given his position away in the sense that he's providing that presence towards A, which will likely keep Gambit towards B here. But that's a beautiful position from Hobbit there, looking in onto the rotation device. So they now know that the AWPer did rotate, so that's a huge cue that it's going to be B here. And if that wasn't enough, we've got Glaive there with the Tech 9 running rampant on that B bomb site. Hobbit trying to survive in the water position, but it's not going to be good enough. It's a 2-player retake here for Gambit.
This is not looking easy for them. How much do they commit to this? Doesn't look like much. Sees Zeus look at his teammate, probably saying, let's get the hell out of Dodge. Astralis, a very key round for them to win. And again, a situation where they've got mere hundreds in the bank. They look to survive with 4 players. They've done some good damage to the Gambit economy, so Gambit tries to hold on to what they have as well. Very big round for Astralis to win. And the comeback is most certainly on. And again, if you look at the CT rounds, the last 3 rounds the CTs have won, all by defuse. So Astralis, they keep getting to this point. They can just change a few situations here and there. Maybe consistent success will come their way. Lots of opportunity for this half to be close, despite how it looks at the moment. And the AWP will continue for Device, being dropped by Azabex in this round. 7-2, and you'll see the shortcomings in the buy from Gambit, who've just gone for a tactical timeout. I've seen a Nova on the map, Dan. There is a Nova somewhere.
It's there, James. We can only hope that someone picks it up, gets into that connector position. We don't see enough Novas these days. I feel like it's decreased, maybe because of the UMP prevalence. You see less love for the Nova. I know you're a man that's a fan of the shotgun.
Shotguns, yeah. I own a Nova. But we see some auto shotgun now.
Yeah.
Fer will often pull out the auto shotty. Makes me happy inside.
And again, this is such a fun map, I think, for teams to play at a professional level, just because there's so much opportunity to do stuff on the CT side, which you can't say for all maps. A map like Training can be a bit more awkward. A map like Cobblestone, very awkward as well. But Overpass, you can get as aggressive as the Ts. You can take as much impact in the early round with your pressure as the Ts could on in any conventional map here. And this is what might be happening here. We've got a Dren just in the smoke there. This could be quite interesting. Mo to support, and also another player there in A long. Hobbit looking to get in, and Dren's going to go through with a flashbang. A little bit mistimed perhaps, but Hobbit's there to pick up the pieces as he goes for the spray. But what is this? Glaive getting himself the frag regardless, but there's the Nova, James. Big Popper Pump makes an appearance there in Connector.
Yeah, but they're still in a less than ideal situation. Mo making life easier, but Kirby will look for him towards the long area. Mo's not at the advantage with a peak like that, but he makes it work. Gambit, perhaps they have an ace up their sleeve. Device and Zipex on opposite ends of the map. Device looking for an opening, moving around a boulder, and Dozier will give it to him, down to the 2-on-2. They have no idea where Zipex is. He could be flanking them from CT spawn for all they know. The CTs, they've given up the bomb because they know their positions could be compromised.
Yeah, you've got 50 seconds, Astralis. There's plenty of time to work out what you want to go for. It's a difficult situation for Gambit too, and you can see they've decided, okay, let's just play this safe. We don't have the information. Let's stay together. It's going to be harder to retake A. Let's just hold there for now. Play good rotations and allow Astralis to work the map. There's not too much else they can do from this point, and Astralis might be cutting it a bit close on the time, but they should be okay here as they make their way through. Actually, are they going to go towards B here? Indeed, going down Connector through the door. Gambit do have a man on the site though. Zeus is quite weak, and Mo's looking in. Looks like they have the sound cue. And Mo looks for the cross, hits the first shot. Device's head is sent somewhere very far away, but Zipex will still get the trade and the bomb down.
Oh, Zeus down from the nade. He was the critical player in that situation, and now Mo is at a distinct disadvantage. Looking the wrong way in the smoke, but he still lands the kill. Gambit, that is absurd. 4K for Mo, absolutely destroying Astralis in that round. They started with a Nova. They started with a friggin' Nova, Dan, and they've somehow won the round. 16-3 is Mo.
Unreal, isn't it? It's a crazy situation. 8-2, it's a really solid scoreline here for Gambit on their CT side. And again, for me, it's all about how well Gambit can play on their CT side, just because of how scary Astralis' CT side is. And now we can see Mo in the replay working that AWP here, working those angles. His flicks, his precision is just so on point. These shots are incredible. Mo, I think at this tournament, has shown that he is absolutely world class. A world beater is this player, and this is one of the reasons Gambit is so far. But we can see now, as we go into the next round, already taking fast information, and they might discover now that indeed Astralis are moving towards sewers and B.
So again, Gambit are continuing with a forward pace and more aggression. But I think they're playing into the hands of Astralis by doing this. And if you look at Glaive's position right now, he is just waiting for a push to come in from Connector. He sees Zeus, he's hungry for it. He is salivating for a flank, but Astralis almost with a read that Gambit will eventually overextend. So what does Zeus do in this situation now? Seems the Ts will make their way down into the Connector position, but there are kills coming elsewhere. And indeed, they're all getting picked off with this aggression. This is what I worry about for Gambit. The early picks for Astralis. They've only got 2 rounds right now, but there's still opportunity for a reasonable score for the T side. And this would break the money of the CTs, I'm pretty sure. 2 versus 5. 3 unanswered frags for Astralis.
I think Mo, in seeing that player at A-Long, is thinking, okay, it really feels like seeing a player A-Long when there's 5 alive, there's only 2 of us left, probably indicated to him that there would be a play towards A, but you can see Astralis, they just held their positions, they're not really making any moves, they're looking for any further indications of pushes from Gambit. Astralis trying to play this really safe, even in a 5 versus 2. Trying to avoid any risks here, trying to play perfect counter-strike, and you can see they're just jumping across here. Mo can't quite find a pick-off. Ooh, getting a bit crazy there with the wallbang attempt. Won't work out for him, and it won't work out for Hobbit either, taking one in the face courtesy of Kirby. Device finds Mo as well, steals away his AWP. If he wants another one of those, he'll have to purchase one again, and the money is not good enough to do that. Astralis have actually finally got there. They've broken this insane amount of money that we saw from Gambit previously.
Yeah, I think Gambit maybe trying to change the pace, change the approach before they get figured out, but Astralis were just waiting for them to do that, and it pays off in absolute spades. Nothing left for Gambit. Finally, the AWP has been taken away from Mo, and Astralis will look to fill his death column. That is a lovely swipe from Device, a confident swipe. But again, 8-7 is still possible, and I think at this point, that would be a bad score for Gambit, considering what was possible. Time will tell. Important duck there from Kiabi. That could have been fatal.
Yeah, I was afraid there. That looked like a team kill in the making for sure. And I like how decisive this round has been from Astralis. You know, sometimes teams trying to play it a bit too safe. They don't decisively get themselves onto a bomb site, but that's exactly what we see from Astralis. And nothing is going to in an untoward manner here so far. So Device just trying to seek out the remainder of Gambit, and he'll be successful. Just Mo remains with that deagle of his, lurking around the A-long area. So it might be a while till he sees any action, and perhaps he won't see any action at all. Still no bomb down from Astralis. Again, you can see how they're trying to play this incredibly safe, literally just taking no risk whatsoever here, not rushing anything. They've got time, they're going to use it.
Mo sitting in the long area with his deagle.
Contemplating life, perhaps.
Indeed.
It's a nice area to do that. It's lots of nice trees and so on. I think there's a picnic spread there as well.
So this is, I think this is a pretty bad spot for Gambit. Not just because they don't have any money right now, but I feel like Astralis are in a good position to just run them over for the remainder of the round, especially like if Gambit are short of money and they choose to compensate for that by being overly aggressive, then I think that will play into the strengths of Astralis. When Gambit were being passive, you saw dupreeh on short B, just trying to find openings. That's not necessarily how Astralis would like to play, so maybe you'll be at your strongest as an opponent with them forced to play in such a situation. But there we go, the buy is back in for Gambit. Mo's got enough for the AWP. He's got the best spawn possible for an aggressive peek as well. So we'll see if he heads in that direction. UMP is coming out on multiple players. And Dozy with the FAMAS. Limited grenades from Gambit. We'll see if Zeus continues into connector. It seems that might be the case. Adren there as well. So it is aggression from Gambit. But will Astralis be prepared for us again?
And Glaves there, ready. Waiting, AK in hands. He's he love a peek right now, but it's going to be dupreeh to pick up the first kill here, taking down Hobbits. dupreeh will go down though in his attempt, but that's just really awesome that you have a player like dupreeh. He can make a play. Going 1-for-1 early on in the round for the T side is amazing. That's the problem though. Mo makes a play towards the toilets, and Gambit, you can see they're suffocating Astralis around the A side of the map right now, and they're enclosing around on all sides. Astralis really forced to go into B here, and they have to really trade effectively because there's Gambit in great rotation position. Zeus by the door here as we see Kirby taking down Dozia. The timing is so good there from Zeus. Straight out the door, straight into Kirby's face, and now the pressure comes in from shorts.
Mo is smoked off on the high ground, so Zeus has got to do a lot. He's got to try and run distraction and slow these players down, allow the rest of his team to get into position. And now maybe Astralis can try and plant the bomb with that smoke. Finally down. It's Zefex with an off angle, but it's only Zefex now. 3 versus 1, 3 versus none. A 2-man kill for Dren on the site. Difficult situation for Astralis. I did wonder if they would figure out the likely setup of Gambit as Gambit get those kills from their particular positions. 9-4. Gambit can still have a strong half here, but Astralis are back on the bye. Of course, Gambit being the underdog in this situation. Coming into the match, that is. Obviously, it looks good for them right now. But even 11, 5 rounds would be a lot to get versus Astralis. But then again, Gambit have been king of pistols so far in this tournament. But we're not there just yet. Astralis still on the bye. Good utility, 5 AKs out. No fast aggression from dupreeh. Limited by that Molotov, but I'm sure he'll head and try and get some more picks towards the bomb site, where there are 4 Gambit players.
Yeah, Gambit with a good read on this one, indeed. Having great positions here, but it's all about hitting those shots as well, isn't it? As we have the Astralis side readying a push in. They got the grenades starting to sail in. Glaive going for the entry, able to catch one. That's about 5 frags in a single second. Absolute madness here. Mo gets himself 2. A third from Mo. Not going to stop anytime soon here. And there it is, number 4. Can this man be stopped when he has an AWP in his hands? Gambit with another round.
21 for 4. Mo is harvesting organs and chewing on eyeballs at the moment. We move to the last round of the first half. Astralis still have money for the buy. Almost every round after the pistol has been a diffuse win for Gambit, but a win is a win. Who cares how it comes? That is a man who knows he is on fire at the moment. And he will be towards that long position. 3 Ts around the balloon area, but the party is definitely over. Zipex picking off Dozier. I'm not sure if he was going for a push through monster. Either way, Dozier's dead. Hobbit left alone towards B.
That's a great shot there from Device. Beautiful boost coming in from the Astralis boys as we see now having that 4 versus 3 advantage with over a minute left. That's the dream on the T side. You've got so much space to work with the CTs, either forced to take a really huge risk in an aggression or forced to play sort of retake setups, as we can see here. 2 players towards A for Gambit. They've only got 1 on B. Astralis can, if they decide to, go all together and trade their way to success here. But Mo, indeed, this is the aggressive play that you got to see someone make, and Mo, definitely the man to do it here for the Gambit side, but you can see that doesn't like that engagement anymore. It's going to back away, feeling, out where a couple players are for Astralis. Some extra information, but Astralis now go for the rotation to B, and with that entry from Zipex, the bomb will go down.
2 on 4. Mo, what do you have left in you? This is looking very unlikely. Bullets flying through the smoke at him. Now's Youth, maybe trying to run destruction, trying to find something, anything, but he can't quite do it. Smoke down on the low ground. Such delays. Both Gambit players, though, they have kits, but 2 versus 4. So many targets to find. How do you not get traded in this situation? Device, no Shadow giving his position away just yet, and that bomb is very, very ticked. 2 fast shots from Kirby will give Astralis their 5th round on the board as we move to half-time.
Yeah, you really have to give it to Astralis here. They've been fighting tooth and nail, haven't lost their composure. They've managed to get a good minimum. That 5-round mark is a good amount of rounds to work from. The thing, though, James, is that so far, Gambit Gaming have a perfect record in pistol rounds in the playoffs of this major. They've won 5 for 5 pistol rounds so far. They're going across the quarters against Fnatic, and so far the first pistol of today. Will they make it 6 for 6? Because if they do, of course, that's going to put Astralis in hot water, and they're going to want to avoid that absolutely.
Pistol round time. The second half is with us. 600,000 people watching for this. See if the comeback is on for Astralis or if Gambit will remain perfect in pistol rounds. All Kevlar for the Ts. Looks like a fast round from them. Will they all barrel through the monster position? In fact, many will be through short, closing down that distance. Sound will be heard, and Astralis are very out of position. They've got 3 players on long. Maybe they'll have a flank later, but Zipex is forced back into a corner.
This is bad. He can't get that fast kill that you want. They're jumping at him, and the jaws are gambiting, closing around Zipex, but still somehow he staves them off. He keeps them at arm's length as his teammates now come in to assist him, and we see Gambit forced to take defensive positions, down 2 men, but with the bomb ticking away. Definitely still anyone's at this point. We've got Kirby coming in for the flank at Monster now as we see Gambit desperately trying to hold onto the water, but Dupree jumping in like a superhero from above it. It's down to Mo, but he can't do it. And indeed, that streak of pistols has been broken by none other than Astralis. A must-win round for them that has now been collected, and that is a huge burden off their shoulders.
A surgical, patient retake from Astralis. Maybe part of the benefit of being able to stack 3 people in long is knowing what you do if it's plan B. Retake the B bomb site. Gambit, they planted the bomb in the previous round. And it looks like they will wait for the AKs in the next one. A Deagle on Mo, the rest on P250s. Astralis will look to build some money in this round. 3 UMPs in the bag. along with an M4 and a French gun on Kiabi. Gambit taking the long routes, quite literally, with 3 players. They're going for a garden stroll. They want to smell the flowers. And the Dren's got pretty close to the toilets as well, so there may be quite a challenge here for Astralis.
Yeah, we've seen crazy stuff with these Deagles on rounds like this. It looks unintimidating, but then someone like Mo turns up and he caps Device in the face there. That is quite annoying for Astralis, losing a bit of money there, but they still can get a rotation in. We've got some great counter grenades here, just slowing the approach, allowing the likes of Dupree to get in there, also get the players out of B and into the A bomb site. And so even though they get that kill, they can't re-retrieve the gun. We've got a great containment here with the likes of Dupree at the back. So smooth sailing, it looks like, for the Astralis side, but Dozier still picks up an additional kill here. However, it will be 3 players surviving for Astralis in the end. And this may have been, James, the first comfortable round Astralis have had all overpass long. The first half was such a struggle.
It's good damage though. Good damage done by Gambit considering the investment. Limited grenades for the Gambit side. What is their plan? How do they open up this round? Astralis better equipped for the most part. 2 UMPs continue for the Astralis side. They will play with confidence. Device moving forward. No sniper for him, he's just with the M4, but seems he will have a look anyway. Grenade sails in, and Zeus will be the recipient, the sole recipient of it, and Device is all the way back to A, all the way back. In the meantime, Astralis have made a stronghold of the B bomb site. Kiabi and Dupree with a short B take. They've cleared it out, dropped a smoke, and in fact they're going to play the extra man by abandoning it completely and rotating the numbers back towards A.
And Gambit just checking everything here. Adren missing an opportunity, although of course a very hard opportunity to capitalize upon, but you can see Astralis can really feel the pressure here. They understand that Gambit have all this positioning towards A at the moment, and they're quite convinced. They obviously have a player in the sewers position, which gives Astralis all the information they need that, okay, Gambit are likely going A. Should there be if there's going to be a fake, it's very high risk from Gambit because they don't have players in position to do it. They don't have the grenades to do it. So right now, Astralis know what's going to arrive soon, and it will be that A play. It's just a question of when Gambit will do it and a question of whether or not they'll get those fast entries. Because if they don't, I'm not sure there's a chance here for Gambit. It's going to be a very tough and awkward affair, but Mo kicks it off well.
2 players in long, including Dozier with the bomb. He hasn't been spotted just yet. The flashbang, the one flashbang Gambit had, has got them onto the site. There's Kiabi picked off. 25 seconds, Dupree coming in for the flank, but Hobbit's waiting for him in the meantime. Hobbit with perfect positioning. 4-round lead for Gambit. Massive round for them. 25-8. Mo is 25-8. The nearest person to him has 11 kills on his team.
What a beast. This is crazy for me too as well, because we all knew Gambit was a very good team, James. But today it almost seems like they're a new team, like they've gone Super Saiyan and they've reached the next stage of their evolution, and we're seeing some insane stuff that's absolutely savage there from Mo, not messing around at all. Having an amazing time in the booth here today so far on stage, here live in Kraków at the Major, and it's a fairly comfortable buffer of rounds that Gambit now have over Astralis, and it could get even more comfortable now as Astralis are indeed relegated to just nothing but some pistols. A sad time for them here in this round. It will be difficult for them to get any damage done, but let's see if they find a way to do so. Gambit are running a nice anti-eco here, and will get themselves quickly onto A.
I love that position. I don't think it's used enough. I feel like if you have somebody watching Connector, you could put a sniper up there, or someone with a silenced M4 looking towards the party area. But don't really see it. 2 Astralis players left. Zipek's barely hanging on at this point. And by this point, Gambit should know that they're pretty much fighting against USP, so it's there's reasonable risk into chasing these kills and not much to get out of them. But they'll clean up the round. 12-7. Never count Astralis out.
James, Mo has 28 frags now. It's a bit ridiculous. The closest fragger to him on his team is Hobbit, Adren, and Zeus, who all have 11. That's quite a difference, James.
I did mention this 2 kills ago.
This is insane, though. It's really just sinking at this point.
It's good, but it only counts if they win the map. Device is on the AWP. He is up to his usual nonsense. Or is he? You'd expect him to look over the smoke. Mo has a nice angle though, so it's a good thing he's not. In the meantime, there's a fight for short B, which is being won by the CTs. I don't know how Hobbit escaped from that situation. I guess everybody was blind. He is very lucky, and that's some valuable information for his team, but they know that that's a personnel investment to make a play like that for Astralis. Is there somewhere for Gambit to exploit in the meantime?
And they are looking for some position, some spot to exploit. That is for sure, but it's going to be Astralis, perhaps with some exploitation soon. They're going to take away sewers from Gambit. This is a really important play as well to have positioning there, and there are players for Gambit that might try to take this position soon here. So looks like this round could come to a head very shortly, as we'll see Mo trying to meet the Astralis players on A, as well as this engagement that could perhaps happen towards B. Looks like actually Astralis give up short, and Gambit will actually win the day there. So this is really good for Gambit. They've got so much positioning here, and I'm really surprised to see that no one so far has been picked off, to be honest.
Yeah, 40-second mark. Gambit have got good map control, but Kiabi is ready to fight using the distraction of his teammate, but Mo's there to punish the reposition. The bomb has not been spotted just yet. Dupree wondering what's going on towards a short B position, and Zipex may rotate towards A in the meantime. Dupree sees nothing. There will be a three-man defense here on A. There are gaps in the smoke in more than one direction, but there's the extra smoke. Glaive doesn't quite have the angle, but does he see the foot? Does he see the shadow? Either way, the bomb is down. Dupree looking to flank again.
And Glaive just in his position, and it's always a tough one. You know exactly what's up. This setup of the T's is so deadly as they all go back towards the toilet position, and that exposed plant becomes such a problem. Glaive looking to see what he can do here, though, as he waits for his teammates to come in, but it's not going to go too well. Adren with a kill, Mo with a kill, and it could soon be Dupree dead, but he will be able to catch Zeus on the rotation, but there's nothing he can do now to win the round against Gambit. It's 3 left, and that bomb is in such a strong position here. Another round going Gambit's way. They're going to move to 13 rounds. They're getting so close to taking map 1 against Astralis.
Mo is 30 for 8 now. He has the kind of score that you have when a pro plays matchmaking. That's the score he has right now. 30 for 8.
If you consider that it's just 20 rounds played as well, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
Time out for Astralis, and they are a team who are running out of time to claw things back on Overpass. The pick of Astralis. The second map will be Inferno. We'll see if it goes beyond that point, the way Gambit are playing at the moment. Lots of talk in the booths. But it's Gambit doing the talking on the server. 3 rounds in a row for them now. And Astralis, they have $2,000 to $2,500 in the bank. There is not much defending they can do in this situation, which means Gambit are likely to go to 14 rounds, double the score of Astralis.
Yeah, Astralis are in a position where they have accepted at this point, and timeout is definitely a good way to just run that process where they won't have any margin for error, absolutely none. So we'll see if they can find a way against a Gambit that just seems to have a crazy level of momentum at the moment. Mo being the operative part of that word in the momentum that Gambit have, and that's a good opener there from Adren taking down Dupree, looking for more as well. It's actually Mo to get tagged down to 34, but Gambit have a great movement together as they go up the A-long position, and it's very hard when the T's move in this way for you to really exploit that as the CTs. You can't catch them off guard, really.
That M4 could not be further away from the CTs, but they may hunt for it. Zeus and Hobbit holding formation for the time being, and Gambit not quite committing to anything just yet, but Astralis are huddling around. However, Kiabi is the only man that doesn't have a stock pistol, and there Kiabi goes, waiting for Zipex to come out. Very patient play from Gambit. Very patient indeed. Now it is last chance saloon for Astralis. Half the score of their opponents. Device on the AWP once more. Hasn't really been able to get anything going in this match just yet. He has got 14 kills, but we haven't seen the vintage Device we've seen in previous matches. Again, he's got the one of the best spawns possible going towards the fountain position. Will he look over the smoke once again?
And that's the thing. It can be very easy to play too defensively in this position because you're like, oh, we can't make a mistake. But if the risk is the right play, you've got to go for it. And that's the mindset Astralis need to be in, and I'm sure that they are in, as they have a forward setup here towards the A side of the map here, looking for a good first kill. It could be Kirby here. He's very close, but you can see that they are wary of this position on Gambit. They're going to clear it out. They're going to actually catch him running back towards Connector Clave there on coverage, but he only gets one, actually two there. The Flames will get a Dren. That's very important. A 3 versus 3 here for the Astralis side after only a mere 30 seconds have passed in the round. Definitely a good situation to come back from.
How does he miss that shot device? It's one of the common positions AWPers will hold, and Mo was looking for the low ground. There's a free kill for Device, but doesn't seem to be on his game at the moment. Hobbit still outside Monster for the time being, and Dupree's in short B. Astralis must win this round, and they have to win with 3 plays intact. Gambit have bags of money. Hold on a second. Okay, someone's got to get back and get the bomb, and that's happening at the moment. Hobbit's made his way in, but does he check short B properly? Dupree behind the sandbags. Zeus will be coming through soon as well. Hobbit's got to be really careful here. This round is on a knife edge. Hobbit sees him. The timing works out for him. The grenade sails in. And the cavalry will soon be making their way towards the B bomb site. Dupree eventually facing, not sure where to look, and it's Zeus. Horrible timing for Astralis. Only the Vex remains. Stereo kills for Gambit as they move to game point.
(15-7). That's an incredible scoreline from Gambit. I love the patience in that last round from Hobbit in his position, waiting for his teammates to come in. And as soon as they did a coordinated strike, everyone was dead just straight away when Gambit decided to push in. That's a very confident way to win a round in a 3v3, and now it's down to UMPs here for Astralis. It could hardly be worse for them. Let's see if they can find a way. They've got a couple players on the toilets position, in fact 3 in total. And Gambit's very focused here, crossing their T's, dotting their I's, making sure that no position, no rock is unturned, nothing's unchecked, that there's no way for Astralis to catch them by surprise as they move together through to A long now, still searching for a Dane. But there's none to be found just yet.
Dupree's made his way into short B again. And Astralis in these rounds, they've been in and out of that position. We'll come back to it later because there's a big round, a big duel there. Dozier losing the bombs to Kiabi, but there's another player there towards that long area. They can pinch these plays, but he's not committing just yet. I think it's Mo that long area, and they're coming in with the frags. Astralis could this be the start of something for the CT side? All of a sudden, they get themselves into a much better spot. AK is being collected by the CTs, but again, there is money. There is a lot of money on this Gambit team. Adren with $10,000 in the bank. Astralis, they need everything. A timeout from Gambit.
Yeah, picking up the AWP as well, such a big deal here for Astralis. This is the way back in, but again, we're just waiting, I think, for Mo's to get a bit crazy again, see if he can find that fire that he had in so many of the previous rounds. And Gambit must be feeling on top of the world at the moment, but as you said, it's not done until it's done.
They're not on top of the world, Dan. They've got their fingers atop of the mountain, but they're still hanging off the side. It's not done until it's done. 15-8. The full buy is here for Gambit. The AWP for Mo, everybody else on the AKs. They've got all the tools for the job. The only limitation is with Astralis. I'm sure Dupree would love an M4 or even an AK for some nice burst fire, but he will have to settle for a UMP. At least for him, he may have the close quarters engagements. But it's Glaven towards short now, and Hobbit wins the duel. Got to be careful though, Kiabi is lurking towards Connector. There's nobody there to hold the angle on the door. He's got to be really careful about that, and he is exposed the way he's standing. But Kiabi, he seems to be going for a flank instead.
And this is really huge. Someone, again, needs to make a play in this situation. Kirby's found the perfect place, the unlooked position, the spot where Gambit have no presence, and he's snuck his way in there. He's got a deep position. His teammates can just rely on him to get information, but he's probably going to get some kills here as well. Catches Adren off guard. There's 2 players in pursuit now. How much can Kirby get? He's going to try to escape here. This will be a very difficult escape, and it won't happen. Hobbit shuts him down, and now Gambit, they rally themselves towards this B area. This is going to be a tough site now for Astralis to hold with a mere 3 players, and if you look how much utility Gambit can throw in, they should be able to take the bomb site.
Astralis can have a good read that it's a B play, but there was a minute on the clock at that time. So Device has still been towards A, only now rotating. Mo going for a peek. We've got close quarters here, and Dozier has to check that, but he's got someone else to deal with as well. Dupree will get taken down. Damage done though, and that rotation is in. Device is in play now. 30 seconds. Gambit can afford some time to fight before this bomb goes down. 2 plays in the rest of the T side, but they need the kills, Astralis.
Good follow-up there coming in from Zipex. It was a connection to by Device there through the bottom of the floor. We'll see whether or not Zipex can get more. There it is. The bomb is down. 13 seconds to go. It has to be collected. The frags have to be made. But it's Zipex to make the kills here. It's just Zeus who remains now, looking for a way in. There's 2 players here. He'll get 1. No time for the bomb plant at this point. It's done. All Device has to do is survive, and he'll do so, looking to make it worse here, trying to catch Zeus as he retreats. Zeus will survive, but it's the round here for Astralis. They keep themselves in this one.
There's still money on Gambit, but it's starting to run low. Suddenly the grenades disappear from their inventory, but what a credit to Zipex for holding on that long, for delaying a master of the B bomb site. And now Device looking to get back to old tricks, but he'll be denied for the time being. Backing off with KRB. Zipex with some dirty tricks. There's Device puncturing Dozier. Astralis with momentum.
Yeah, 2 great kills from them, and the crazy thing too is that Gambit, they've got obviously only just 1 round to win to take this map, so it allows them, it forces them the opportunity to run all kinds of crazy strategies as time goes on, as their round loss bonus builds as well. But this round is not done just yet. Most still alive, looking for picks with an AWP here. He'll be smoked off, and one thing I've liked about Gambit's play is how they've been generally dealing with Device, always a flashbang for any position he's been holding. So they've made his life very difficult, but again, he was successful in this round. I wonder if Mo can just spot something there. Did he see the barrel of the gun? Yes, he sees the barrel. It's a tease, though. Looking for the warband. Gets it onto Device. Down to 25 as the smoke dissipates. It's Kirby looking for it, but it's Mo to get it. As we'll have 2 players here in a situation against 4 defenders. Maybe it's doable now. Dren with a kill.
40 seconds. Don't have the personnel for fakes, but they've got time to try to consider their conditions. Astralis will try to consider their options, sorry. Astralis will try to force their will, to impose their will on these players. And there's the flank from Dupree. Zipex with the first kill, Dupree with the second. Double figures for Astralis. 5 rounds away now from overtime.
Great support here from the crowd for Astralis to make this comeback a reality. A mere 5 rounds away, a team with so much composure and focus and championship quality in them. Let's see if they can get themselves another good start here. We get that aggressive play from Device, looking over the smoke. No flashbang to deny him this time, but there's no players to be found, unfortunately, for him. As Gambit are playing very passively here, really slowing down their round. And Astralis, after seeing nothing quickly towards A, they themselves are moving back into very defensive positions, not looking to get picked off anytime soon.
This is an interesting buy from Gambit. Just 1 round required by the team. They have 5 opportunities. This is number 1, and they've only got 3 rifles. 1 minute 10. Now Zipex has made his way. Oh no, he hasn't. I thought he was in short B, but he's just looking over the wall. 3 players in B for the CT side, and it's Glaive who will start making his way towards the A side. Passive from Astralis, giving up a lot of map control, trusting Device towards the toilets. And Glaive will be the man to give him support to the right-hand side. Got to be careful. The Dren is going to win his duel. Device missing again. This has not been a good game for him so far. Some crucial opportunities have come and gone, but there's only so much information for Gambit. Kiabi forced into the open, but the smoke will save him just in time, but not in time to get that kill.
The entry frags abound here for Gambit as they march their way in. Another head spotted, another head shot. Adren doing great work, so is Dozier now. Just Dupree to try to stay alive here for Astralis in this map. 1 versus 5, the bomb is down. Could it be any more difficult? He'll find himself an engagement, can't get the kill though. Another player spotted by the truck. Key information here for Dupree, but still stuck by Bank. The entire team still alive for Gambit. They know where he is. Grenades, additional grenades sailing in, and there it is! Gambit, they win the first map against Astralis. Overpass is theirs. They have an advantage in this series, in the semi-finals here. Unbelievable turn of events, but it's not over yet.
There we are. Take your goddamn tops off. Where's the D? There's the D, Dan, if ever you're looking for it. Massive game for Gambit. They take the lead. They take the pick of Astralis. A monstrous nuclear-level performance from Mo. 32 kills he ended with. Absolutely ridiculous performance against one of the best teams in the world.
It's really unthinkable. Again, it just, for me, what I see out there on the stage is a different Gambit, a stronger Gambit. Just every single player performing so well. I can't imagine how they feel at the moment. Getting that first map under their belts, but again, it's going to be a long road against the likes of Astralis. They had such a difficult first half, but you could see that Astralis, again, they always are composed. No matter how hard it is, they'll find a way to keep the rounds coming. And I think this map could definitely have gone either way. Again, without that massive performance from Mo, it's definitely looking like Astralis would have taken the game.
You can see Zonic already turning the pages of the Astralis tactical Bible in the booth there, looking forward to the next match. And Gambit definitely deserve a round of applause for that performance as they exit the booth, led by Adren, unless they've gone the wrong way. I think they're locked in there. They're trapped.
Do you think they can do this, James? Can Gambit make the finals of a major? What a crazy situation to imagine.
1-0 Gambit. Hashtag bronze pick'ems. Prepare yourselves, because that could be the outcome. But it's not over yet. 1 map lead for Gambit, but it's not over yet. There is much more Counter-Strike to come from these 2 teams, so make sure you're in your seats for the next one.
And that's the thing too with Astralis, their fundamentals are so good and so consistent that you have a situation where, again, just the more rounds that Astralis get to play, the better that they can look, because they're just so consistent. And some teams, if they drop off individually, that's when you'll see massive rounds from Astralis, you'll see massive amounts of momentum. They're one of the hardest, if not the hardest team in the business to play against.
Mr. Red Eye, what do you think about that one?
Fantastic performance from Gambit Gaming. We said before the game began they needed a few win conditions. Yanko, did they fulfill all of them, or at least some of them?
I think everything on the list was ticked. Like, they need to have a good start, ticked. They need to make good reads. They need to take risks and be aggressive, ticked. They need to overperform individually. Mo needs to step up. Well, that's a definite. That's definitely
Gets 2
a
ticks
tick.
for that one.
33 kills,
It's insane.
11 deaths against Astralis in the first map of the semi-final. So that's just a mind-blowing performance from Mo.
Yeah, it's astonishing, isn't it, Robin? Now, where did this come from? Why didn't we expect it?
I don't know. Why weren't we expecting it, Paul? Because on the other side, we're supposed to have Device here that's supposed to go head-to-head, and Device was nowhere to be found the first 7 rounds. Even Sipnik as well, right? I feel like Gambit did such a great job, even, aggressive in the early stages, and then go for retakes on the bomb sites. We saw on the first half there for Gambit, 9 planned situations. Gambit won 6 of them.
Yeah, it was just a case of Gambit wins pistol, Astralis buys the 3rd round, not an optimal buy. Gambit kind of gets a good read, wins that round. After that, when Astralis has more money in the following gun round, they do a great job of taking map control, and they want to execute a fake, but it was Adren in a forward position towards Bathroom, where he gets 2 kills, completely shuts down the fake. It still ends up being a clutch situation. Astralis brings it back towards B, but Gambit kept winning those early clutches, and when Astralis would win a gun round, they would immediately get reset. They couldn't get their flow going until the very end of the first half. And that's where you were thinking, okay, this is where Astralis is going to end with like 7 rounds. That's all they need. But it was Mo stepping up at that point in time as well, getting 4 kills in a very important round and managing to give his team a 10-5 half. And you could see how Gambit, switching towards the T side, they lose pistol, but ever since the first buy round, they have a clear plan, very good fundamentally, very good use of utility, very similar to what we see from Astralis on the T side of Overpass, and then it was just the rest of the players stepping in as well.
How much of this is Zeus? How much is this
A whole lot,
Mo
right?
having
I
a
mean,
great game?
it definitely makes it easier when you have Mo just dropping bombs as well, right? But just the actual game plan leading into this first map, it's all Zeus. It's all about like, okay, this is how they like to play. This is what we should do. Just very fundamental, good fundamental Counter-Strike coming in from Gambit.
And it was another slow start from Device. I mean, he had that yesterday against SK on Cash, but he did manage to turn it around as the game progressed. Here, he wasn't able to do so. First kill in round number 7. That was the first time he got the AWP because of the way the economy went for Astralis. They wanted to go for rifles and utility over a glass cannon AWP. And you could see, even in the second half, some of those shots he usually hits were a miss. The very last round against the Dren, right before that, a couple of questionable decisions. So definitely not the Device we saw yesterday versus SK on this very same map.
A lot of people that don't follow Counter-Strike will ask the question, why does that? How does a player go from being so good yesterday in 24 hours so poor?
I think that's very difficult to answer because, yes, Gambit was doing a good job of utilizing their utility, pop flashing constantly for his regular positions, but, you know, that very last shot in toilets, it's like, he usually hits that. So
99 times out of 100.
you know, it's like, this time around, it's maybe just having an even slower start than yesterday, maybe not feeling as much into it because, you know, you are the favorite, you're kind of expecting this to be a walk in the park, but it's definitely not going to be so.
Okay, scoreboard by Boomio is on screen now. You can read through and enjoy the Mo statistics of 33-11.
Yeah, I was just going to touch on the Device thing yet again. I feel like Device got a little taste of the medicine he gave to Fallen yesterday, where Fallen was always like, kind of countered. And this game, you saw here, all the flashbangs was just like, Device likes to play this position. Let's put a flashbang here. Device likes to play here. Let's just do it here. Just early on, just really good. And then going into later stages of it, either Device was dead or he had really poor positioning. And then I think that's the whole cost of it, right? When you go back 2 years ago with Device, you expected him to drop the bombs that he normally does, and he never really did, right? And I feel like I'm not calling choke here yet, but what I will say though is if you do manage to catch this guy off position and you do manage to always counter every single move that he does, he's gonna have to try something new, and that's why I do think that we saw some really weird aggressive play when he didn't really have to, missing shots that he really should not have done, instead of just falling back and holding angles and working with your team.
On your screen right now is the MVP. There is absolutely no doubt who the MVP in this game was, Janko. That was a blistering performance, and partly, perhaps, why Device didn't have such a good game.
Can we just take note that Mo had 18 kills with the AWP out of 33, and that 10 of those were like in retake and post plans, which is a bit uncharacteristic for an Opera. If he has a good game, it's probably a lot of opening kills. Mo only had 3, but he did so much work throughout the game, whether it's, you know, in the retakes after the bomb is down, post-plan positions, or just mid-round, getting that extra kill to make the space. You could see it even in the first half. Astralis in a 5v3 situation shuts down the early aggression from Gambit, and then Mo just somehow finds 2 openings, brings it back into a 3v3, and then Gambit edges out that round. Very rarely do we see that happen to Astralis. Once they get an advantage in the round, they're probably the best team in the world at closing it out.
Earlier on, we saw Virtus Pro take the opening map against North. It was their choice, of course, North's choice. We've now seen the same thing happen. Gambit now in the driving seat as we head into Inferno. What are your expectations, pair of you, as we head into map 2?
I think you would be a fool if you're going to count out Astralis because they lost their own pick. I don't think it matters which map they play. I think they're the team that has proven the most to be capable of resetting after a loss. And, you know, we were saying about all the win conditions for Gambit, that it all happened in map 1, but can that, you know, replay itself in map number 2? Can they get a good start, all the great reads? It's maybe a bit easier for Astralis on Inferno in a sense that there's a very deep playbook. The map is more condensed, so not as much room for Mo perhaps to make plays. And yeah, I said you shouldn't underestimate Gambit, but Astralis is still favored in this best of 3.
I agree as well. I mean, if you look at the last two maps, we have Inferno and then possibly a third, or Train as a third. And these are both very, very strong maps for Astralis. But what I will say, leading into this, I don't think any one of us even had Gambit winning a single map, right? So I think we have a lot less. I think we're still in for a surprise coming into Inferno. I don't think it's going to be extremely one-sided. I think it's just going to be a brawl. But I do still have Astralis winning this
These
one.
are the two best maps for Gambit, though. Out of the pool, or out of the maps that can be played, these are their best two maps to play against Astralis. So if there is ever a time for them to make this happen and pull this upset off, it's on one of these two maps.
Yep, that's for sure. They do have the opportunity here. Gambit, they are one map away from playing in their first ever major grand final. We'll be returning back to the Toron Arena after this.